So, in today's video, we're gonna go back to the sewers of New York and talk about the first cartoon appearance of that wild and wacky vigilante, Casey Jones. So, alright, let's go.
Yeah! So, we start off in New York City, where there is an uncharacteristic crime spree sweeping the city. Who will help? Luckily, this new vigilante named Casey Jones is on the scene, and he's making it his mission to clean up crime in New York City, beating up would-be muggers and thieves left, right, and center in a violent manner. But the news is starting to follow this violent crime-stopping spree. And unfortunately, many in the media believe this is the work of those pesky, rascally turtles. You know, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo. So April O'Neil takes the story because mostly she wants to clear the name of her 4 Ninja Turtle friends. She knows it ain't them. They at least have a code of ethics. Sadly, Casey Jones gets to the turtles first, thinking that these turtles are lawbreakers, so a fight ensues. Also, why is Casey Jones hanging out in the sewers? Isn't there, enough crime happening topside on the streets? You know, where people generally hang out and, do crime? Who's doing crime in the sewers? But, I digress. Casey Jones thinks that the turtles are literally space Martians, so he takes off. Okay, so this guy's just, slightly insane. That's pretty good, hey? So the turtles realize they need to get this guy off of the streets. He's a danger to himself and everybody else. Also, he is starting to ruin their good name. Unfortunately, you can only contain crazy for so long before it takes off. Meanwhile, Krang and Shredder have developed a new technological weapon. It's a robot bug that can burrow into any piece of technology and take it over via remote control. So Rocksteady and Bebop unleash an entire horde of these robot bugs into New York City. And holy jeez, hey, these robot bugs are starting to take over every machine, including April O'Neil's news cycle, also including every other vehicle in downtown Manhattan, also including everything else. Holy crap, this is right out of a Stephen King novel. And this sucks because the turtles can only beat up so many refrigerators and TVs and microwaves, and they just keep coming back in waves. The turtles are in over their heads. Worse yet, Krang and Shredder have the remote control of these bugs and are using a now taken over manufacturing facility to make a giant knucklehead machine to destroy and take over New York City. But I kind of think they're doing a pretty good job with the bugs, But, oh well. Elsewhere, the turtles are completely cornered by a bunch of kitchen appliances and are about to get crushed by a giant refrigerator when suddenly Casey Jones is insane enough to see that these appliances are actually filthy, dirty criminals and gives them a lethal dose of street justice for their evil doing. Crazy works for once! Yay! Even luckier, Donatello finds one of these little robot bugs where the bug is set to return home after its discovery, so the turtles follow this thing in their turtle van into Shredder's new factory, where they see the new giant knucklehead, to which a fight ensues. Casey Jones chases after Krang in the knucklehead as Krang starts to destroy the city, to where unfortunately Casey Jones has no success against this new machine. Luckily, the Ninja Turtles have more success fighting against all the machinery in the factory, to where they finally get to Shredder and Krang's robot body, where the turtles defeat Shredder with a piece of pie? What? They threw a piece of cherry pie at him and this defeats him? Oh my god! I thought he was like some ninja master. You can't duck when someone throws a piece of pie at you? Holy jeez! But luckily, with that defeat, Donatello gets the remote control for the bugs, and he sets all of the bugs to go into Krang's Super Knucklehead, which completely destroys the machine. So the day is saved! Hooray! The Knucklehead is destroyed, along, unfortunately, with parts of the city. Shredder and Krang take off, and Casey Jones walks off into the sunset. He should be, kind of walking into an insane asylum, but we'll take what we can get. And with that, that is the end of this Cray Cray tale.
Oh my god! So, yeah, man, that was a pretty interesting episode. It was pretty good, but holy crap, that Casey Jones guy, eh? The guy is totally crazy! And I don't mean, crazy like Bugs Bunny or anything like that. No! This guy is certifiably insane! I kind of vaguely remember watching these episodes when I was a kid, and I was thinking, oh, that Casey Jones guy, he's so silly and funny. But watching it now, man, oh my god! Even by cartoon terms, he should be thrown into a cartoon insane asylum. When the Ninja Turtles were cornered by all of those appliances and they were about to get crushed by that refrigerator on top of the building, I almost thought that Casey Jones was going to choose the side of the appliances. Yeah, kitchenware, you guys are all right. We have to get rid of these space aliens. And if he did that, I would not have been surprised. Maybe Splinter could have talked some sense into the guy, but it's one of those weird episodes where Splinter wasn't even in it. Where would he go? Did he go on vacation to the sunny sewers of California? Was he taking a nap the whole time? That just seems kind of odd. Where could a giant humanoid rat go? One of the things, you kind of notice about the Ninja Turtles episode is that there are a lot of episodes where Krang and Shredder actually won. Really, with all of those little bugs taking over every piece of technology? That right there, man, boom, you won. You shut down everything. But if the villain's plan is written so well that it completely defeats the heroes, the only way they can lose is by themselves, with their overconfidence. Sure, that Knucklehead thing was pretty cool, but if you guys just laid low and let a bunch more of those robots out across the whole city, the city is yours. But oh well, that's how it goes in 80s cartoons. So if you haven't seen it before, maybe you should check it out. But with that, we do have some more behind-the-scenes kind of things about Casey Jones and Turtles and whatnot going on over here.
So yes indeed, hey? Casey Jones! So how did this wild and wacky character come to be? Well, let us take a look in a comic book. So you have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book from Mirage Studios, created by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. As you do in every single comic book, is you create new characters and expand your superhero universe, which is what they were set to do with this new character. They were very much inspired by the vigilante superhero characters, most notably characters like Batman, or the Punisher, or even Daredevil, seeing as they worked on Daredevil comics before the Ninja Turtle comics, and they figured to create a character kind of in that vein, but not as a serious kind of character, more as a parody. For Batman, Punisher, and Daredevil, they all lost family members to crime in one way or another, and they used that tragedy as fuel to fight against crime. For Casey Jones, they figured to go in a completely different route. They just figured he was a character that watched one too many cheesy TV police shows and some cheesy police movies. Stuff like TJ Hooker, The A-Team, and especially Dirty Harry. Then he would go watch the news and see how much crime is happening in the city and figured, you know what? I should be like Dirty Harry and I could fight crime. The city needs me. To which he did. And he would be inspired to fight crime like that. Instead of giving him a really cool looking uniform like Batman or the Punisher has, they figured just to put him in some old dirty sweatpants and give him an old hockey goalie mask. Also, instead of having really cool weapons like Batman does, or an array of, like guns and stuff like the Punisher has, they figured let's go the really cheap route and just give him some old sports equipment. If you're gonna be a DIY kind of vigilante, you're just gonna grab whatever weapon you have around you. Like baseball bats are pretty good. Hockey sticks, not so much, but a golf club, oh yeah. Well, not the graphite ones. You put all of that together and boom! Casey Jones first appeared in the one-shot comic book, Raphael, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, #1 in 1985. An origin story where this cartoon is loosely based on. So you do see Casey Jones sitting in his apartment watching Dirty Harry movies, getting inspired and being like, yeah, that's me, that's what I gotta do. To which he does! Unfortunately, he gets a little too inspired and a little too violent with some lawbreakers. Raphael, who was running solo trying to blow off some steam, comes across him and figures, holy crap, this guy is violent and crazy, I gotta stop him. He does just that. They decide to put aside their differences and become friends and do some crime fighting together. So that's pretty much what you see in this featured episode. Well, except for Casey Jones watching a Dirty Harry movie at the beginning for inspiration. However, you do get that Dirty Harry inspiration sprinkled into this episode. Voice actor Pat Fraley decided to use a Clint Eastwood voice impersonation, more specifically a Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry voice, for the character, which really comes through really well. Raphael mentions that Casey Jones must have watched one too many Filthy Harry movies, which of course is a reference to Dirty Harry, and Casey Jones even uses the line, "Go ahead, punk, make my night," which is a paraphrase of Dirty Harry's classic line of, "Make my day." So in the comic books, Casey Jones is a lot more violent, so when Eastman and Laird asked the Ninja Turtles show to put Casey Jones in it, they kind of toned down Casey Jones a bit for the show. He's still pretty crazy and violent, taking out most of his aggression on appliances, but in this cartoon series he only appeared in like 5 episodes. But still, he made quite the impact. He was in the original comic book quite a bit, the 5 episodes here, and in every other comic book, every other TV show, every movie series, whatever, toys, video games, Casey Jones was all over the place, and becoming quite the fan favorite in the process. So that's kind of the basics on the character, right? Like how we got to him, and how we seen him in his first cartoon appearance. We will see him more often down the road, but we'll get to those stories when we get to those. But for now, with this, that, those, and the other things, I guess that's that. Also, if you're interested, I created my own comic book channel, 215 Comics, and currently I have created my own cartoon series, The Adventures of the Density, and recently started a radio series featuring my newest character, Elastomorph, with more titles to come. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link up top here to that channel, and some links at the end of the video. Yeah! Right on, and there you go. So thanks for watching the video. I hope you liked it as much as I did making it. Also, feel free to check out the source material that I featured in this video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything you may have liked or things I might have missed in this, feel free to do so. Or anything else, just to say hi. That's cool too. And other than that, have a great day. Thanks.